First of all, I don't give a fuck about sexual orientation, politics, or any of that shit, so that woke argument for why some people dislike any game really doesn't mean shit to me. I care about gameplay, atmosphere, and story, and The Last of Us 2 is pretty good at that for like half the game. Let me explain. I love The Last of Us 1. Its story is incredible. It's full of plot twists, interesting and memorable characters, great atmosphere and music. I also genuinely like the gameplay. It's satisfying. The enemy AI is great, the weapons feel awesome, the crafting feels good, and reloading looks and sounds great, which to me is important in any game that has guns in it. Last of Us 1 feels good, and Last of Us 2 feels even better. The gameplay is faster, the guns feel more powerful, you can be more aggressive in encounters, animations are incredibly fluent. But what about the story? Well, spoiler alert, as if nobody knows what's happened yet, here it goes. Meh. Now, why does that piss people off so much? Well, it's the way it's done. Over the course of The Last of Us 1, you get to know what kind of person Joel is. He grows on you so quickly. He turns into this father figure for Ellie after having lost his own daughter in one of the most traumatizing ways imaginable. The dynamic between Ellie and Joel is just beautiful, and when you're playing it, you can't help but get emotionally invested. And then you play the sequel, and that to a lot of people just seemed downright disrespectful. Joel didn't deserve to die this way, people say. Now, I'll say this. He didn't deserve to die this way, but that's what made the experience so intense for me. When I saw this, my stomach dropped. I was like, holy shit, just like that, huh? This emotional gut punch just instantly hooked me. The thing about Joel's brutal, sudden death is that it echoes throughout the whole duration of the rest of the game. Now, Ellie's got PTSD and constantly gets flashbacks. Some of these are playable memories, like the one where Joel and Ellie are visiting a museum, which is probably the most heartwarming part of both games combined. Those scenes just hit that much harder because of what happened earlier in the game and how it happened. You see her fall into a spiral of rage and sadness, leading her to become a straight-up cold-blooded murderer, just slitting throats and bashing people's skull in, until she goes too far and kills a pregnant woman. Ellie's boiling hate against the Fireflies and Joel's killer Abby Anderson ramps you up so much as the player that all you want is to see Abby suffer and die, and then they make you play as her. And this is where the game took a shit in my face. Now, this part of the game exists so you get to see Abby's side of this dilemma. You're supposed to get acquainted with her situation and get to know the people that are important in her life, especially the relationship with her dad, who is killed by Joel, and her boyfriend, who was killed by Ellie. The problem that I have with these characters is that they are one-dimensional and boring. I can't help it. Every attempt of making me feel compassion for Abby and her peers just left me being annoyed by them. I think the reason why I didn't feel anything for these people is because I got to know them after they killed Joel on top of all the other vile shit they did. And now all of a sudden they want me to have them grow on me? Like, nah. Fuck you. Abby's dad tried to kill Ellie, and I like Ellie. Dude had Ellie in his custody for less than 6 hours, does a few blood tests, and states himself that this is nothing we've ever seen before. The cause of her immunity is uncertain. He didn't even know what causes her immunity, but he's eager to cut open the head of a child, knowing he'll kill her in the process, instead of doing more research to really find out what is going on with this patient. Joel, get this motherfucker out of here, you piece of fucking garbage. To me, it just feels like the Fireflies are irrational and selfish. They were in a rush to save themselves, even if it meant murdering a child. Fuck you. And now I gotta put up with this shit? Abby and her shitty boyfriend Owen, who's cheating on his pregnant wife, have this fight on a boat that leads to the most cliche hate fuck makeup sex that is apparently legally required to be in every survival movie. Jesus Christ. Anything bad happens to the Fireflies, I was like, good. This whole Abby segment did the complete opposite of what it was apparently supposed to do. Make me understand their side. I mean, I do understand. They're fucking douchebags. Now, there was one segment that I felt was amazing while playing as Abby. The one where you're in a super high place above the city. The only time where I could relate to Abby was when she was like,
oh fuck! Oh fuck!
That's it. Now, I really went into all this trying to like this character, but she made it so fucking hard. All the interactions with Abby's friends and family felt forced and almost like filler content. A lot of forced walking and slower segments too, like long-ass meaningless cutscenes back to back. Near the end of the Abby segment, they make you fight Ellie. I hated that because I was rooting for Ellie. I like her. I died like 10 times here, not because the fight was hard, but because I intentionally got Abby killed just to see Ellie fucking destroy her. Is that weird? Fuck you, it's a video game. Who gives a shit? And then after what felt like an eternity, you finally get to play as Ellie again. Thank God. And what an end stretch that is. Introduced with a beautiful, peaceful scene of Ellie and Dina living happily on a farm. This beautiful atmosphere. They're trying to raise this child as best as they can, as if the world around them isn't this fucked up place. And Ellie, of course, is still completely traumatized. She gets a massive panic attack in the barn, forcing her to decide to destroy the fireflies and kill Abby once and for all so she can have somewhat of a peace of mind. And then you go do that, and this segment is so cinematic and impressive. The fires in those villages you go through, the scenery is incredible. Ellie just clinging on to her life by a thread and then freeing Abby and her little kid friend, but Ellie is still angry, so they fight. That fight was intense, man. As Ellie is getting her anger out of her system by punching the shit out of Abby, bleeding all over the place, then Abby bites 2 of Ellie's fingers off. Holy shit! They keep fighting bitterly until both of them decide to let it be. So Abby and the kid leave, and so does Ellie, in an attempt to leave all this bullshit behind her. So Ellie goes back home after a long journey fueled by revenge. She returns to her farm to find Dina and their baby have left. Ellie's final scene involves attempting to play Joel's guitar, highlighting the physical consequences of her journey and the loss she's experienced. She ultimately chose not to kill Abby, realizing that the cycle of violence and the pursuit of revenge will only lead to more suffering for her and the people she loves. And now you tell me that this game is bad. What the fuck? Yes, I felt like the Abby part was lackluster and felt forced and boring a lot of times. It definitely could have been shorter, but it made that last stretch of the game have a much higher impact. Maybe just because of that. I don't know. I feel like so many people just say the game is bad because of how Joel is killed off, and many more dislike the game because of Abby, but they simultaneously don't acknowledge that the vast majority of the game is just an incredible piece of entertainment. It's a stupidly entertaining, emotional revenge story. And can we acknowledge the acting? Especially from Ellie over here? Not just the phenomenal voice acting, Ashley Johnson acted her ass off in this. How the fuck are the facial animations so damn good? There is more expression and emotions in Ellie's eyes than there is in any Hollywood movie these days. The gameplay is snappy, the kills are brutal, like you don't expect the shocking gore of some of those kills sometimes. You have to be strategic and plan out your moves. There's nothing more satisfying than going into an encounter and winning it without ever even being detected. This is a good-ass game. Anyway, I liked it a lot, although 30% of it made me go like this. But the rest of it, the majority of it, made me go like this, and like that. So this is pretty good. See you next time.